I guess I was muted, but I was saying we're in the third line of the 31, and I can feel like I feel like I've never had so much trial and error almost like today. First, I think we sent out the wrong time of the call. Then I had water coming into my electricity outlet. Then a few times we were muted and Simone needed a few extra minutes. And yeah, it's that third line of trial and error. And I wonder if you have the 31 in your chart with the third line, what is it to have trial and error in leadership? You know, that's really a trial. I have the 31.6 in my purpose. So when I was before my first Saturn return, you could basically say that my experience was a third line. And I believe that my leadership was a trial and error in the sense that it wasn't really serving me, so it wasn't serving the whole. As a 4-6, I always had an inner vision, and it took me a while to believe that I could live that vision in the world as my life's work, not just as a hobby. So for me to step into that 31.6, it's not my purpose, it's actually my attraction, but it is a channel with the 7.6, which is my purpose. So it's a very strong theme for me between my personality earth, no, between my design earth and my design moon, where I have this channel of the alpha. So I feel this in me all the time, and I look at the world and I look at the leaders in the world, and sometimes I feel hope and many times I feel something else. I have the 13.6 in my radiance, which is also about hearing everything. I believe we need more visionary leaders. I believe that we need more leaders that have also gone through that period of trial and error. So whatever it is that we are experiencing today with trial and error in the 31, I believe that that is creating more humble leaders. And that is what I'm learning about the city of the 31, that I don't really feel is a city. So many of the cities are untouchable, but humility for me is something that every leader needs. And we really get it from when we are believing we're stepping into leadership and then there is something that is a little bit off. And for me, I believe that that was the thing. More than anything, my leadership was not serving the whole. It was, so whether it's only serving others and not you, or only serving you and not others, it's, you know, it doesn't matter. I believe that for line, and that's what I said when I was muted, line 1, 2, 3, it's leadership that is it's a personal leadership. So I think that that can be a little bit more, it can be empowered and inspirational, but it's a little bit more to have caution around when it is a 1 to 3. We really need to look at the person if they are empowered, and then they can actually show us the way. When it's a 4, 5, 6, it's more transpersonal, and there as well it can kind of read the whole situation, also manipulate it. So I kind of today I really see the 31 in all its iterations, and I know that the world is kind of depending on leaders that can not only speak leadership but that can walk leadership. So I'm interested, Simone, to have you come in and see what is the message today on this third line with the 31. What can it tell us about the trials and errors that are going on in the world, and when we feel like that we are maybe walking a little bit on the side of our own leadership, or following somebody where it feels like it's not completely in integrity. What are some of the things that can help us in this process?
Well, the first thing that 31 says is we're going, to places we've never been before. And it's almost like I feel like through the vibration, I'm almost in like a Star Trek movie where there's this venturing out, but simultaneously in my body, there's this going in to this place that is a sphere that is untapped potential. So it's interesting how the trajectory is simultaneous, going to a place we've never gone to before and going internally to this kind of golden orb that is unexplored territory within the body, happening all at once. the 31 is saying the way to go where we've never been before is to explore this internal space of truth. And the way that we get there, it's so interesting that as we go through our processes, and it really doesn't matter what one's process is, whether it's human design or gene keys or some other process, but as we go through the process of learning what the truth of who we are is, we are slowly or fast or quickly, but we are in this process of going within. And when the desire or the intention is to know the truth of who you are, that's when you get to the gold inside of you. And, there's an integrity of truth, so that it reminds me of the energy of what I'm being shown, reminds me of homeopathy, where in homeopathy they distill the essence of something and it gets purer and finer and purer and finer. And that's what this process feels like in me as the 31 takes us inside. And it's not lost on me that, when we think of leadership, we think, the most common thought might be the person who's leading others outside of themselves, but true leadership is going within and knowing the truth of who you are and being embodied in that truth and integrity of who you are. That's, in a sense, that homeopathic purification is going in and going in and going in and going in and going in. And is this the truth of who I am? Is this the truth of who I am? Is this the truth of who I am? It's this internal looking inward. And it shows me that the 31 shows me that when we are looking at, is this the truth of who I am? Am I in integrity? Is this the purest form of me? This, and this continual homeopathic kind of process. We start to glow, it's effortless in the external expression, in the being with others. And so this commitment to this purification, or I really like the homeopathic journey of distilling the truth within you, within each of us, that the 31 is giving us. And what a beautiful way to think about leadership in the external world, to be able to go to places we've never been before. We get there by this internal homeopathic process. So it's fabulous. I asked the 31, was there anything else it wanted to say? And it was like, no, it wants to be in relationship and conversation, communicating with each of, with everyone. So Bella, what's sparking in you with this wisdom for the 31?
I guess I feel like we have so many people on the call that have the 31. And I see Louise has the 31.6 in her vocation, and I have it in my attraction. So maybe that would be a good, because that the sixth line is bringing in all the lines in one way. So maybe start there and then we can go down in the other lines if that's.
Yeah. Louise, do you want to come and you want to be in conversation with the 31? We bring you up. Would that feel like? Or do y'all want me to just go to the 31-6?
Maybe just go to the line, or let's bring in Louise too, but maybe a general thing about the line, and then.
Well, the first thing the 31 shows me is it's a distillation of, the purity of consciousness, embodiment of the 31. So it's like you going to the 31.6 is, in a sense, exemplifying what the 31 was bringing forward. And with the 31.6, it's even more important, this homeopathic process, because if you are out of balance or out of integrity, haven't discerned, and you have the 31.6, it can be very detrimental to your physical vessel. So discernment of how you lead, what you're leading, what energy you're taking in, what is really true for you, to be in a field. Another way that the 31 shows it to me, to be in a collective field or a tribal field where everyone feels or believes, has a point of view about something, and that something does not feel light in your body. It's to have the courage to either say it or walk away, get your body out of that field, and to not be conditioned by the collective or the tribal when you know in your body that what is being spoken or what is being said is not true for you, because that's true leadership. When you experience in your body, oh, this is not good, this is not feeling good for me, whether you know what it is or not, to remove yourself or to start speaking, this doesn't feel good in my body. Maybe I don't know the answer right now, maybe you do, but to either voice it or to take your physical vessel out of the field, but not to stay entrenched in a community that is, the collective consciousness is in a vibratory field that doesn't work for you. And that's the leading edge of leadership, because your 31.6 body is showing you this is old news. This is old energy. We have the capacity, the knowing, the wisdom, at least you do, to move to another field, to bring yourself into another vibration, create that pathway so that other people can go, oh, 31.6 walked away and is doing this other thing. Maybe I want to walk to that edge too. Maybe I want to. And then it creates curiosity. So whether you lead by simply moving your energy or you lead by voicing what your experience is, super important to not stay in an energy that is not working for you. Because if it's not working for you, it's already not working for the collective, and you're just you're the litmus test. This doesn't work. So move. And there are people who, the 31 shows me a frequency band. And when you get the knowing, it's almost a distillation in your 31.6 field. And you either move out or you voice, or you stay and you don't voice, and it's detrimental to your it's literally detrimental to your physical body, your physical form. But when you actually take action by simply moving or by speaking, there will be people on the opposite end or in a different area of the frequency band who may naysay you, who won't be able to hold what you already know to be true. And it's to not get sucked back in by them, or there's no even need to have a discussion with them. Allow them, acknowledge, I get that you don't experience what I'm experiencing. That's okay. We all have different knowings, leadership. So to not be deterred in choosing what's what your body, what your field is showing you to do. What a great question. I'm so grateful that you asked that about the 31.6. I'm just by watching and bringing this through, I'm learning so much, and I feel so lifted up by what came through from the 31. What a great question, Bella.
Thank you, Simone. Let's see, Louise, if you have something, please come in now.
Ugh. You're like literally, it's just, yeah, everything you just said is so relevant at the moment. And it's funny you talk about homeopathy, actually, because I've been having homeopathy treatment, and the last treatment I had was the lion. So it was literally the lion. So it's all about courage. And yeah, I've really felt my voice. I've got a lot going on here. Just this kind of, last week, all kind of interlinked with exactly what you're talking about. Do I stay here or do I go? And sitting in that indecision, I can feel it in my body, the impact of it. So yeah, it's just really, you're amazing, Simone.
Thank you so much. And I want to say we're amazing, because Bella and I know the people who show up are the right people for the conversation, and we understand how this is expanding in the field, the transmission for the 31, and we appreciate the co-creation. We appreciate that you show up and value this expansion of the field, and so thank you for co-creating with us.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a real challenging one. I feel like I don't know about linking it with things, but because we've been doing the brand archetype, the life's work as well, which is the powerhouse and leadership. They're just such strong, for me, they just feel so strong, and it feels like there needs to be so much bravery and courage there. And I'm just really feeling that. It's feeling like my body at the moment. So it's really helpful to have your support.
Yeah, the 31 is looking at your ascendant. So this is information that's specifically for you, but if you're in the field with us, you may want to look at what your ascendant is. And so the ascendant is the where the planet that's at the, Bella can explain it more, but at the horizon lifting up toward your sun. So we all have an ascendant. And Louise, the 31 is looking at your ascendant. And there's something really juicy for you with how your ascendant is bringing light to your 31. What is your ascendant? Do you know it off of?
Is that the one that we were talking about with the astrology? Yeah, I do have it. Not the midheaven, it's the other one.
Right.
Got so many things written down. I can't find it at the moment.
It's okay. So just you may want to spend a little bit of time of looking at your ascendant and contemplating its relationship to the 31 and how your ascendant, this is the way I see it. This is how I see it in my screen. So it's like your ascendant is coming up and it's shining light on your whole chart, right? But it's also playing with your 31 in a very specific way. So what are you ready to shine light on in terms of 31.6 being in your vocation, in your core wound? So look at how how your ascendant shines light on what you're healing, what you're here to do in this world, and how specifically it works in the world. So, you know, if we think back to what the 31 said about the 6 line body and moving out of a field that doesn't resonate with you, or speaking up about it, whichever way you choose, is um, there's no priority each one. You know, you have to choose, but it is for you to choose. So to think about what your ascendant is shining light on about what you know about when to move out of the field or when to actually speak your truth about it, even if you're discerning as you speak. But your ascendant will help bring some light to this process, and to it's saying how you choose what you choose and when you choose it. So when do you just lead with your body by moving your body out of the field? When do you lead with your body by voicing what it is you're choosing? So, you know, oddball metaphor, but this is how it's showing in. So the 31 shows me like this gaseous field that almost looks like napalm coming into, and you with your 31.6 body, it's almost like you feel it before it's even physically present. So that's like a time you might want to say to other people, hey, bad gas coming in, incoming bad gas, let's all move. You know, this is like energy coming into the field. You may, you know, say be safer over here. And other times where then now it's showing it to me like this. So now it's showing me that Gaia is rumbling. It's like an earthquake. And as the earth is quaking, you might have wisdom about why the earth is quaking. And that might be something you want to express or not. Everybody is going to feel the earth quaking or has the capacity to feel the earth quaking. So it's a little bit different than that kind of napalm gas that your 31.6 body can feel, sense way before it actually enters the field. Everybody's feeling the earth shaking. And so then, you know, why is the earth quaking? Why is Gaia quaking and shaking? What is being shaken up in us to come out? And you, with your 31.6, you might have wisdom about that. And so then it's discerning, what do I say? How do I say it? It's a learning process for you as you become aware. And so it's interesting, right, that the 31 is bringing us these different scenarios of what might happen and what might compel you to simply move and alert other people, or to speak, and how the ascendant can help you with that discernment process. I hope that helps you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'll re-listen to this. I think it's I think it was the 8.3, if it's the black side, the ascendant. I don't know.
8.3, so playing with it and allowing yourself, you know, the full range of experience. And then style, exquisiteness, mediocrity. Wow, what an amazing pairing. Let's go back to where the 31 started, which was going into our golden globe, in, you know, this orb inside us that's the essence of truth, and going through that homeopathic process of purifying and being with integrity in there. And there's your ascendant bringing, you know, style and exquisiteness to leadership in your 6-line body. And, you know, with the shadow being mediocrity, it's like, it's saying, you know, don't be mediocre when you're in your homeopathic process, right? Or watch that, because, but I mean, really the style and the exquisiteness of the 8 joined with your, you know, shedding light on the 31. What a powerful, powerful combination. And just in general, what a powerful combo for us to be able to talk about, you know, for anyone who has the 31-8 combo somewhere in their chart. Bella, I would like, this is your DNA we're talking about here. I would love for you to come in and kind of bring some awareness to this. You know, I feel like if the 31 is pointing to Louise's 8 for us all, I feel like there's a message for us all, and maybe you can help us bring that to light. If you're there.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm, you know, maybe this is the thing, because I was conscious about the time and I want everybody to be able to ask about their sphere and their line. And I believe that when we do speak about the 6th line, it has a wisdom in it for all of us. And when we speak about the 8, which is style, and it's in the individual circuitry, it is about showing up with your own unique voice. It's not just style, it's actually a throat gate in human design. So it springs from you. And I think it's opposite the 23. It's really also pointing towards the G center, which is where we have the 7 as well, which is connected to the 31. So I feel like we have this connection between the throat center and the G. And the G is, what is my direction, or the direction of humanity? What is my identity? What's the identity of me as a leader? And what does it mean to walk with love? You know, so for me, there is a link from the identity center of who you are in the world and how you talk in the world. And I feel like what we're speaking about here with the 731 and the 8 and the 1, it is that there might have been a split. And this is what we often speak about in Business by Design as well, the old leadership, where it was enough to just express it. You have style, you have influence, just express it and people will follow you. But with connecting it to the G, it is so important that it stems from knowing who you are, knowing your direction, knowing what love is. And that's the way to lead. Especially with 8, I just feel like it brings in again the uniqueness. And it is the agent for that unique creativity, the 1, the first gene key, 8 and 1, that comes from you, that sparks from you. And that also allows us to be in a line. Especially in the beginning, I was saying, oh, maybe it's better with a transpersonal line because they are not going to lead us in their personal agenda. But then I was like, well, they could, you know, and it's almost like the 8 says, all the flavors, anything that is uniquely you, that is your leadership. And there is no other way anymore of just being the spokesperson for something in order. I mean, I would say it even has to go further down in embodiment. If we are going to be trustworthy leaders, it has to come from the G, it has to come from the sacral, it has to be grounded. And there's no right way of doing it. But it's not a fragmented leadership. It has to be a leadership where all the parts of us are telling the same story. Otherwise, it's not going to be impactful. I hope and believe.
Well, when I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh, well, that's why 31 was talking about integrity, you know. And yeah, I love that. Thank you for that weaving. There are 2 things in the chat that could be really fun to go into. Elaine asks if the 31 wants to talk about how it plays with the 62 in the ring of no return. That could be really beneficial for all of us. Let's see what the 31 has to say about that. Well, what happens is when this is how the 31 shows it to me. When the 31 and the 62 are working together in that ring of no return, it it um, it expands like infinite exponentially, so it becomes quantum. So it reminds me of, I saw a video once of proteins in the body replicating and how they build through this process. And so it was like when the 62 and the 31 are working together in harmony, it's like an automation of expansion um, through their teamwork and their union, if you will. And the 31 is talking about infinite possibilities when the 62 and the 31 are in harmony. So that anything is possible when the 62 and the 31 are together. So leading with precision, humility, and impeccability. And thinking about impeccability, when the 31 was showing us that internal process of integrity, that to me, integrity is really impeccable. It's really pure. And so it's interesting how the 31 shows that this quantum replication process, and that anything is possible when those two are working together. Beautiful question, Elaine. And if you have follow-ups, just write that in the chat. And then also, Kajala, I would love to talk to you about this if you feel like coming on camera. Kajala said that she sat with the essence of the 31 and realized that it's represented in her as a projector and in all projectors. And since we are here to lead and guide, and this is mostly done through invitation, then the life, then we live the life of a leader on just more than a personal one-on-one level, but also in the collective field. And that as a projector, she feels like we're penetrating to find out what may be true for the other who is lacking awareness and guidance, just sharing a perspective. Kajala, thank you so much for that. I love that personally, because when we were working on the door, Bella, Ashley, and I worked behind the scenes. Bella writes the text, I write the questions, Ashley creates all the graphics and brings it all together. So we work as a team to bring those doors together. And when we were working on the 31, I felt so connected to the 31, and I don't have the 31 as a defined gate in my own chart. And I often contemplate how much I feel that key or gate inside of me, even when it's undefined. And so I love this, that you bring this up. And I'd like to ask the 31 to talk to us about its relationship with projectors, and if there is a difference between defined or undefined in the projector field. The way that the 31 shows it to me is almost like quantum DNA, that, we talk about how all of the gates, all of the keys, if you will, all of the archetypes, if you want to go with archetypes, are in our DNA. And it's, when we look at human design, we're looking at which ones are activated, but whether they're activated or not, they're all in our field. And what the 31, they're all in our DNA. So what the 31 shows me is that in the projector field, it's almost like the 31 is vibrating in the projector auric field. So that it is operating with us in our field. It almost feels like, when you build a house and you have to have a grounding wire into the Gaia to kind of ground all your electricity, the 31 feels like the grounding rod of the projector field, as I am watching what the 31 is showing us. And It's also showing me how it's using the metaphor of hummingbirds. You know how hummingbirds go from bloom to bloom, and as they insert their beautiful little beak inside each plant, they also start pollinating other plants that they go and sip from. It's this beautiful part of nature. And what the 31 is showing me is that with this 31 is almost a grounding vibration in our projector fields. As we go out, we are actually bringing the 31 and inserting it energetically into the field as we do our projector work. So what a beautiful question or comment, and thank you for your reflection, Kajala. And I love that we were able to open the transmission in that way. I know I felt especially connected to the 31. So thank you for that awareness and your courage to share. It's so beautiful. Does anybody else have their hand up, or anybody else have a question or comment, or want to talk to the 31? Anything you want to bring alive in your field?
Yeah, I have a question.
Great.
So I have the 31.6 North Node on the unconscious side and the 56.6 on the North Node conscious side. So I was thinking about the relationship between those two. And I was thinking like the leadership that the 31 it comes back for me. Like right now I just saw it like, oh, the people that are going to be, I don't even think I like the word leadership, but because I guess I don't really understand that word yet. But for me, it's like somebody that enriches my life, somebody that brings something to my life is definitely I hold in high esteem, and just like, oh, this person brought something to me that changed my perspective, my worldview, and I want to get to know that person more, and I want to have a relationship with this person, and I like his vision, I know, and I like his heart or her heart. So enrichment, and then I started thinking about like, oh, the ants. How can I honor like the ancestors that kept the essential alive throughout the years. Like, so I've been playing with this and a little bit like trying to tap into my ancestor and trying to like really honor that, because I think on the unconscious level it's just like it's not really there, or it's not really connected to me. So maybe if you could talk about a little bit about like ancestor, honoring the ancestors um, that stood in the forefront, and maybe that could help me tune in more into what and how I could connect.
So when you talk about the 31 on your unconscious side as your north node, what the 31 was showing me was that this is your home vibration. If you simply walk into a field and be the truth of who you are, acknowledge it in yourself, whether you say anything or not, you're holding a vibratory field of truth and integrity. And with your 56 in the conscious side, what it was showing me was that like if your unconscious side is simply vibrating the truth, being the leader, being a leading vibration, being the truth of who you are in vibration, and you're in the field and you're bringing that waveform to the field, then the 56 is, it was like the voice of that vibration. So, you know, leading through your vibration, your vibratory field, and then the 56 voicing the truth of that vibration into the world. And I'm asking more specifically about your ancestors and your connection to your ancestors. Well, it brought me back to the metaphor of the tree ring. So your ancestors are in that ring of life for you. They're in your vibratory field. Their imprint is with you. It's in your DNA. So on your unconscious side, it's already with you. And it's the more and more you are aware that you carry the lineage, the vibration of your ancestors, and the more willing you are to be with the truth of that in all of its iterations. So it's not denying any hardship or you know, receiving the whole vibratory band wave frequency band of your ancestors' experience, because there's truth in all of it, whether it is a lineage, you know, filled with pain or sorrow, or, you know, carnage, or whatever it is, joy, you know, hold the whole frequency band in your waveform. Be willing to receive it all and be aware of it all, and be willing to stand in that truth and of the whole vibratory field. The the reduction in integrity would be to only want to look at part of it and not receive the whole vibration of your lineage, of your ancestors, and then be willing to hold that vibration in your physical field and wherever you go. And then in the 56, you know, with that image of your conscious side voicing the truth of what you hold in your unconscious side. So how do you, with integrity, you know, what's enriching in integrity to share through your voice? And how over the course of your life are you moving consciously, moving into more and more and more of those vibrations? And how are you consciously holding the field? What's the vibration you're holding? How are you bringing it into, how are you voicing it? And really to be, what is showing me is like a thermometer back in your unconscious side where the 31 is, and to have an awareness almost like that operates like a thermometer of how much, and when the mercury goes up, it's like a measure of how much of yourself and your lineage you're able to hold in your physical form together. And to be aware of that as you voice or bring voice to what you bring voice to in the world. I hope that helps you. And
Yeah,
if
thank you.
you want to share anything, any engagement, that would be great.
Yeah, it helps the vibrational field that you're speaking about. I feel it's on the unconscious side, so I'm not really completely aware of it, but I feel that it's there, regardless if I'm consciously or putting my attention to it. And I think that helps me move through the world with optimism. I think the 56, the archetype is a comedian, and I think sharing the trial and errors of where I come from and how I live my life in a warm-hearted way. I think that's kind of like what I need to practice, because when that happens, then I breathe easier. Everybody else breathes easier, and it just becomes more enjoyable and more truthful. So it does help just keeping that vibration, and what you were saying about honoring the whole spectrum of life in my ancestry. That feels really good. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being with us and expanding the transmission. So appreciate you. This is feeling like a completion to me, Bella. Is there anything, any other place you want to go, or does this feel like completion to you?
Yeah, if there are no more questions, let's wrap up for today.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being with Bella and I, and the 31 and the 56 today. We had so much fun, and we love doing this work with you. Until we see you guys again. Bella, when are we coming back? Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, I believe for now it's always Monday, and it's every other week. So, and it's sometimes it's a little bit earlier in the day, sometimes a little bit later. So today I know that there was an error in the email with PST, or Pacific time and Eastern time. So next time we'll make sure we send the right time, and you can always watch the replay on our Facebook page. But yeah, we are going to be back in 2 weeks on a Monday, I believe.
So August 9th, we'll be back with the archetypes that are in transit and another one. So we'll see you then. And thanks for joining us with Unlock Your Design. Take care.